Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. And this is our NXT review. And I'm gonna be honest, guys. I was checked out for most of this show. I didn't think I would ever say this, but I'm really looking forward to Dynamite tomorrow. Given that we're giving AEW a lot of coverage this week, we're live reacting to Dynamite, Rampage, and we're previewing and predicting Revolution on Saturday at 10, and then we're live reacting to Revolution when that goes live. I know they have a start time. I think they said of 8 o'clock. What was that?
I just wanted to make sure that people knew that our preview predictions on Saturday was at
Hello?
10:30, not at 10.
Oh, okay, 10:30. So yeah, 10:30, and then we're reacting to Revolution. So yeah, I'm actually looking forward to that because I was pretty meh on this show, save for Wendy and Dakota, who are my favorite women's Dusty Cup team. Jensen and Briggs, they've become tolerable at best. Like I don't hate them as much as I used to. I wish they weren't such caricatures, but what can you do? And of course, Carmelo Hayes, who leaves us with a bombshell that for Takeover Stand and Deliver, he plans on defending the North American Championship, bringing it full circle to how it all started in a ladder match. And I do have to say one more thing before I hand the baton over to you. Another reason why I was pretty down on the show, NXT Roadblock next week looks like absolute fucking ass. Like their marquee matches are ones where I am just completely checked out, save for Diamond Mine versus Imperium for the tag titles. That I actually am looking forward to. But Last Man Standing, Knight, Waller, do not give a fuck. And that triple threat, I love Braun. But nah, you can miss me with that one. Wake me up when he gets an actual contender or just at least a Champa one-on-one matchup. Because I've said over and over, I wouldn't mind, completing the trilogy. But this ain't it with Ziggler involved. So yeah, NXT Roadblock looks like garbage next week. But yeah, what were your overall thoughts on the show tonight?
I didn't really hate the show. I wasn't in love with anything. Obviously, Carmelo Hayes is great. I think after the Hayes match, what I enjoyed most about the show was probably the women's Dusty Cup matches, both of them. I thought they were both a lot of fun. There was a lot of storyline progression on this show, I feel like, that was mostly good. Only a few things that really annoyed me. And I think that's about. Oh, I really loved the Chase face turn, basically. Andre Chase versus Von Wagner. That was good stuff, too. So I will have some good things to say about this show, but not entirely good, which is why we get to our first segment.
Yes, heat of the night. I really can't think of anything that angered me on this show. Really, again, I'm checked out with Harland and Gacy. Fucking Pete Dunn, he lost, so I can't complain about that because he did lose. I like the preview with Imperium versus Diamond Mine, although I will say I did have a nitpick there that I wish that we would have seen Diamond Mine in their NCAA days because, Malcolm Bivens did say that they both won NCAA championships. I would have liked you kind of splice the footage of Diamond Mine being dominant now in the ring, but then also back then at the collegiate level. I thought that would have been nice. Solo Sikoa lost, so I can't complain about that. I think, although that's another nitpick for me, is that I feel like he looked a little too strong in that match for me. But yeah, just surveying the show, I really don't think I have any full-blown raging heat of the night, except that, honestly, I guess if I had to force one out of myself, it would be that when LA Knight was cutting that promo tonight, walking us through the Grayson Waller feud, I didn't know that it's been going on for that fucking long. I want that time of my life back. That's the only big heat of the night that I have. No way a feud like this should go that long. But what about you, man? You got anything on your roster?
First of all, I completely agree with you regarding the LA Knight Grayson Waller shit. That has been going on for way too long. And really, for a feud like that, I would argue that any amount of time is too long. And the fact that it's been going on for over 4 months at this point is just fucking ridiculous. Um, as far as heat of the night goes, though, I don't know if I really have one full blown heat of the night that wouldn't be repetitive, because I really genuinely did despise the LA Knight Grayson Waller segment tonight. but I don't want to be repetitive because we always talk about how awful those are, and if we don't talk about how awful they are, it's because we just throw out a quick fuck LA Knight, fuck Grayson Waller, and move the fuck on. But I really wasn't. Like that was the worst segment of the night in my opinion. I'm really not a big fan of the fact that Amari Miller and Lash Legend were a tag team one week, immediately got jobbed out, and then broke up and had a match against each other. And we kind of got a pretty clear preview of how NXT views these women with Lash Legend going over despite far less wrestling experience here. I just don't like anything about this storyline. The way this was handled does not set well with me at all.
I completely understand where you're coming from. It's funny. I know you've likened Amari Miller to Bailey in the past, and I think tonight, I think I've always seen it on some level, but tonight I really saw it because she jobbed out again. I feel like you could tell an amazing story with Amari Miller, starting at the bottom and then ending as NXT Women's Champion. I don't know if I trusted this NXT to tell such a long form story like I would have in the early days of the Black and Gold era. But man, she's got a great look. I think she's quintessential pro wrestling babyface, and I think she can make a good bit of money if WWE stuck with her. I think she could have a very successful career. Lash Legend. The funny thing with Lash is I don't dislike her, and I did like that they gave her her own talk show to start out. Lashing out with Lash Legend, which I hope they do continue with that. But in the ring, though, you could tell that a lot of polish is needed. I think she's worth the investment. I want to make that perfectly clear, but that, polish is needed. I do think the wrong person went over, but then you realize that they're trying to dovetail this into a program between Lash Legend and Nikita Lyons, and it's like, okay, but then we know Lash isn't going to go over, which I don't think she should necessarily, but I just don't think, it just comes off that they're treating these women as expendable when I feel like they can both be viable assets to your roster is just kind of how I feel at present. So yeah, I can sympathize with your heat of the night for sure.
Yeah, I'm not super duper high on Lash Legend just because, again, she's been wrestling for a grand total of like 3 months now, maybe a little longer than that, but not much. A little less than half a year for sure. And she is still very young, so there's still plenty of upside there. But like, I almost see Amari Miller as like a future Sasha Banks waiting to happen. Because if you remember when Sasha Banks first showed up in NXT, she was kind of like this generic, bubbly, happy, energetic baby face as well. And it took her kind of getting the attitude and turning heel and finding the boss character to really like open people's eyes to like, holy shit. But like, I'm seeing a lot of like similarities, I think, in Amari Miller now and that early bubbly babyface Sasha Banks that I immediately was kind of drawn to her and I was like, oh my God, there might be something here. I'm kind of feeling the same way about Amari Miller. So when you start having Amari Miller job out to people that you just see as like these almost like prospects that are brand new to wrestling, that came from another sport, that might be a star in a few years, but right now they're still extremely green, I just can't get behind that.
Yeah, that's understandable. I actually do like that comparison you've made as well. And we'll just have to see where they go with these women going forward. But yeah, do you have anything else on your roster outside of Amari Miller and Lash Legend?
Unfortunately, yes, I do, because yet again, it's like another week and another example of NXT desperately needing some fucking help with optics, desperately needing to hire a PR firm or something, because there was literally a promo segment tonight where the newly renamed Gunther, who was originally going to be named Gunther Stark, named after a famous Nazi, what was it, like a gunship pilot or something like that? I don't even remember. But you have this dude cut a promo.
I think it was like a
talking about how
captain, yeah.
He's going to chop the tribal tattoos off of Solo Sikoa and replace them with respect. Now, I'm sorry, but if you can seriously not see where that comes off as literally glorifying colonization, I don't fucking know what is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's rough, man. It's rough. You know, I don't know if I would have been so mad about it had they just kept the original name or whatever, but you just add the whole packaging and it's bad. Like, it's bad even if he was still Walter for the reasons that you said. Like, why take it there? You could have just as easily said, I'm going to powerbomb him into the canvas, because he powerbombed him twice tonight.
Yeah.
He could have just as easily said, I'm going to powerbomb him into the canvas until the canvas teaches him respect. That would have been fine. Why do you got to go and bring the tattoos into it and say what you're going to replace them with? Because when you say you're going to replace them with respect, what's that signaling? Oh, your tattoos are disrespectful to me. The culture that they're emblematic of is disrespectful to me. And it's a really, really bad look, man.
Exactly.
Really bad look. So I completely agree.
So those were, I think, my only two heats of the night that wouldn't be unnecessarily repetitive, because obviously, you know, if I wanted to, I could bring up the Harland and Gacy stuff, and we could bring up, you know, Waller and LA Knight, and we could even bring up Pete Dunne being in the main event at all. But we'll let that go. Those are my two heats of the night, because those are both relatively new problems, even though the PR or optics thing has been an ongoing trend, I feel like, with NXT, that they really just need to fucking get a third person or like another perspective to watch the show before it goes out to the public and be like, oh, that's not a good look. You might want to change that. Regardless, let's get to our review, because it should fly by pretty quickly, I think.
All right, let us get into our NXT review, and we open up with Champa and Breaker versus the Dirty Dogs. Fine tag match from what I saw.
Yeah, honestly,
they even do the electric chair bulldog kind of Steiner Brothers double team.
This match, I think, was better than I thought it would be. Mostly because Rude and Ziggler are just so fucking boring most of the time to me, but I absolutely loved that for the entrances for those guys, they played Rude's Glorious theme in its full, like, uncut, unedited, original NXT Glorious glory. And they let the NXT crowd just have fun with that for like a solid 20, 30 seconds, maybe a little less than that. I might be overestimating that. But then they cut it off with the Ziggler theme, I'm here to show the world, and the crowd just fucking booed it out of the building. It was so well done to be able to give them that little moment and then rip it away and get that heel heat on top of it. And the match itself was actually really fun. I thoroughly enjoyed this match. I wouldn't put it on like a match of the year list by any means. I don't even know if it was really the match of the night. Probably wasn't. But it was a hell of a lot better than I expected, and I really liked the finish. Because again, it's Champa kind of establishing the dominance over. I think it even was Ziggler that he pinned, which I think he pinned Ziggler on Raw last night too. So if they're planning on bringing Champa up to Raw anytime soon as like a permanent main roster member, he already has that built-in credibility. And yeah, I just thought it was a really well done tag match. Thumbs up for this.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with you. Yeah, and Breaker and Champa get the win. I just want to kind of connect threads and say later on, you know, Ziggler got interviewed backstage. It turns into a kerfuffle between him, Champa, and Breaker, and that's how we get our triple threat for Roadblock. Again, kind of checking out of that one mentally. Really looking forward to Revolution by comparison to what NXT Roadblock's got going on. But after that, we get Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes arriving to the arena alongside Pete Dunne arriving, so we know NXT and the record titles on the line tonight. Then we get freaking LA Knight backstage, so skipping over that. Then we get the Gunther promo, which you already kind of talked about. Then we get Knight and Waller. We're going to skip all of that.
Please.
Then one of my favorite parts of NXT, Indy and Persia. Persia says, Duke Hudson, wish them good luck. Indy, of course, is peeved by that because ever since, Dexter walked in on Duke and Indy, Indy kind of telling Duke off, but, Dexter didn't see that part. He's been kind of, just a bit detached from Indy, kind of separate and everything. And that's kind of getting under Indy's skin because, she's really missing her Dexy, if you will. And, it just seems like they're not on the same page. They're trying to focus because it's like, hey, we win this tournament, we get back in the tag title hunt. Persia assures her, like, hey, I'm focused. And they go, but Persia rushes back to her phone, starts writing out a text. And he's like, Persia. And she's like, oh, coming. And then we go from that to the Women's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic first round match. Wendy and Dakota versus Indy and Persia. I got to say, man, aside from the main event, which I'll admit that I didn't even see all that because I had to use the bathroom. I ran into some issues. This was my match of the night. What do you think about Wendy Chu and Dakota as a tag team?
Dude, I fucking love these two as a team. I love how effective they are. I love that they actually have tag team chemistry, even though you'd never fucking expect that. I absolutely loved this match, this duo. The thing is, their next opponents are probably going to end up being Raquel and Cora, and that might as well just be them like running into a fucking runaway freight train. So I don't expect them to make the finals, but I'm rooting for them to make the finals because they are just that good and that compelling and that much fun to watch as a team. I really loved this match, and it was almost exclusively because of the dynamic between Wendy Chu and Dakota Kai.
Yeah, dude, I gotta tell you, my favorite spot from that match, personally, on the Wendy Dakota side, was the frog splash that Wendy did. I've never seen a frog splash done that way. I probably shouldn't be as impressed as I am. I just thought it was a cool as fuck visual, and then Dakota's double stop on top of it. I gotta give credit to Persia. She sold it like death. I thought that ending sequence was really well done.
I feel like you're waiting for me to say something, but I don't really have anything to add.
I was kind of waiting for you to say something. I didn't know if you agreed, if you had like any offense that kind of stood out to you. Because yeah, I know there's a bit of a delay, so I didn't know.
The interesting
thing. Did you have like any? I guess I should just ask in the form of a question. Did you have any favorite spots?
I really think that like just the fact that they instantly came out there and had chemistry and like they were doing double team moves together and it didn't feel like they were trying to like work through anything was really cool. It's like they're just naturally good with each other, you know? I really liked
that. Yeah, absolutely. So Indy and Persia, quick elimination there. They are out. Persia surprisingly eating the pin. I like that though. I will give this story credit. That I thought it was going to be your typical Indy has her head up her ass because she's married and she thinks she's better than the team or bigger than the team, and Persia would turn heel on her. I like that they've injected this Duke Hudson element of like, oh, look at Persia getting distracted now, and now Indy getting kind of a little short with Persia, but they're trying to make the relationship work. So I got to be honest, I really don't know how this is going to culminate. Because, again, I think if this was a storyline done even a few years ago, it would very obviously be Persia goes heel and we're supposed to sympathize with Indy. Now I'm not so sure. I still think, obviously, Persia and Duke could be a heel couple, or Persia could just go heel on her own. Or maybe they are both going to stay baby faces and, their friendship endures because Duke Hudson's the ultimate douche and he wanted to get in with Toxic Attraction. I know you kind of said that as kind of thing a few weeks back. I do see that as viable, legitimately. So I got to give this story credit. It started out as like, oh, man, we're really going to do one of these. To, I don't know. I like the people that are in its orbit. And I think, this could really add some spice in the mid-card. So, yeah, we'll have to see what happens. But, yeah, Wendy and Dakota advance. Like you said, I don't know, given that Raquel and Cora also won their matchup. I don't know how their prospects look. I would say not very good. But I am hoping for them to just pull it out. I am hoping for them to pull it out. So we'll have to see how it goes. Mm-hmm. After that, they're kind of celebrating. We get the preview for Creed Brothers and Imperium. And then we get Amari Miller versus Lash Legend. You already kind of talked about that. Lash Legend gets the win. We get Solo versus Gunther. I already kind of alluded to, Gunther does win. He powerbombed him twice. Have to wonder if maybe they're taking slight inspiration from Wardlow. But I like that, though, because it does protect Solo, because he did have the undefeated streak, and they were building that up like, oh, is the streak going to end tonight kind of thing. And it really does give the stamp of approval on Solo, like that a guy like Walter had to do 2 power bombs to beat him. Although, again, I do stand by. I think it took a little bit too much from Walter, that the match went on a little too long for him to get the win. So that's whatever. Harlan versus Draco Anthony. Harlan gets the win. Just going to bypass that. Raquel and Cora versus Valentina Feroz and Yulissa Leone. Cora and Raquel win. And so, that was to be expected. I like Feroz and I like Yulissa, so I hope I see more of them in the future. They were fine. After this, Andre Chase versus Von Wagner. Again, I really got to give Andre Chase credit. He's really grown on me. I've really grown to like him as an undercard act. I wouldn't even mind this whole North American Championship ladder match that Carmelo Hayes was kind of teasing at the end of the show. I wouldn't mind if fucking Andre Chase was a part of that. Legitimately, I think that'd actually be really cool. I do expect the Von Wagner to be a part of it. I am curious ultimately who's going to be in it and how many people are going to be in it. I'm expecting 6 to 8 participants, so we'll have to see how that goes. But as expected, Von Wagner gets the win. It was a pretty quick matchup, all things considered. You had to know it was going to go this way because I think NXT does want to make Von Wagner low-key like a top heel of sorts. Nikita does respond to Lash, so it does seem like they're on a collision course. Maybe that match will even happen next week. I don't know, but I'll be curious to see more from her. And then Pete Dunne versus Carmelo Hayes, and he gets the leg drop off the top and hits Dunn in the back of the head, gets the pin on him 1, 2, 3 to retain the title, and then we get the tease at the end of the ladder match. So Ashton, I guess I'll hand this over to you to kind of round this out, at least our review portion. Who would you like to see in the ladder match if you were booking it? Say if you got, I'll even give you 8 guys. If you feel like that's too many, you could just keep it 6. I don't care.
I really want to do
who would you like to see in this ladder match?
Come out, stand, deliver. Original and North American Championship ladder match, if I remember correctly. So I'm going to do 6. We're going to say Hayes. Okay. You know what? I fucking hate it, but knowing NXT, Dunn will be in it anyway, even though he just lost his title shot. I hate it, but it seems pretty likely. Grimes, Loomis. I'm trying to think. Oh, fuck. I really hope the final 2 aren't Knight and Waller. I really, really hope it's not them. I think in my perfect world, it would be 6, and it would be like Mello, Grimes, Loomis, D'Angelo, I guess. It's really hard to come up with 6 like mid to upper card guys. Oh, fuck me. Escobar, obviously. How can I forget him? And I'm definitely forgetting someone else. I'm gonna look up NXT's roster real quick just because I know I'm forgetting people. Let's see. Andre Chase could be in it, but I feel like there's got to be a better answer here. It would be wonderful if Odyssey Jones was around. He'd be great to have in it as well, but no. Roderick Strong makes sense, actually. Actually, wait a minute. You tell me, John, is Roderick Strong injured right now? I feel like we haven't seen him in a while.
He might be. I didn't get any official word on an injury, so I honestly don't know.
Okay, so my 6 then, in my dream world, in my perfect world, are going to be Hayes, Grimes, Loomis, Santos, I originally said Tony D'Angelo, but this is my perfect world, so my last 2 are going to actually be Duke Hudson and Zion Quinn. Those are my 6. I think in NXT reality, it'll be more like, honestly, knowing them, they won't even have Loomis in it, which I would fucking hate because he really should be. But knowing them, it'll be something like Hayes, Dunn, Grimes, D'Angelo, Waller, Knight. And I fucking hate everything about that except for Grimes. And obviously, D'Angelo.
You know what's funny is you hate that, and I definitely understand why you hate that, but I do agree with the reasoning behind it, and that's probably going to be what they go with. So, I just wanted to pick your brain about that because I am excited about Mello getting to have a ladder match for the North American Championship. And, dude, I don't think he retains personally as of this moment, but if he does, If he retains in that environment, I think we have to start talking about him potentially being the greatest North American champion that title has had. Because I think that would be just wonderful for
Yeah, I
him.
agree. I agree with
So
you.
yeah,
That would be
really
really cool if he
excited about that
retained.
ladder match. But with
I
that
think that's
said,
a situation where he's
yeah,
either going to retain or
yeah,
like Grimes is winning it. Like I feel like those are the two most likely options, honestly.
I completely agree with you. I completely agree with you. With that said, guys, we can move past this NXT review and get on to our next segment, high spots and low shots. I'm going to go with the easy low shot this week. Pete Dunn had an opportunity at the North American Championship in the main event, and he came up short. So the man that breaks fingers left with a broken heart, and from where I sit, it's what he deserves. So fuck him. Who's your low shot tonight?
That's fitting. I like yours, but I think I'm going to take Amari Miller as my low shot because like she comes off of a loss. She gets blamed for the loss. She tries to stand up for herself and she fucking loses to her partner or former partner anyway. It was just a rough night for her.
Yeah, definitely. I hope they do something with her down the line, man, because I really do think she has a lot to give. We'll have to see how that goes. As far as high spots, though, like you, I don't like taking the high spot and low shot from the same match. Very rarely do I do that, unless it's really emphatic. So I will say, you know what? I tweeted about him. It was one of the high spots for me. I'm gonna say freaking Wendy Chu and Dakota Kai. I love this
I love
strange
that.
tandem, strange bedfellows. This is actually more appropriate in more ways than one for once.
Oh, because Wendy wants to sleep
Those
in a
two.
bed.
So yeah, they'll be my high spot. What about it? Yes. So what about you, man? Who's your high spot?
Oh, that's a really good question. Honestly, I think I'm gonna have to kind of take the low road in a sense here. Just go with who I think legitimately did have the best night, despite the fact that I don't necessarily like this performer as a person, and that's Tommaso Ciampa. Because for the second night in a row, he pinned a literal former WWE World Champion, uh, multi-time World Champion actually, Dolph was, and won the match for a team that he was on that also included the current NXT champion. So like really, really big night for Champa tonight, and like he kind of reestablished himself as a contender for the world title. And obviously now we know we're getting a triple threat between him, Ziggler, and Breaker. Is that next week, or is that supposed to be on Stand and Deliver?
That's next week. That's next week. So
Oh
thank
yeah,
God it's not Stand and
that is
Deliver, because
really
I'm
good
really
because
curious who they're
Stand and
going to bring
Deliver's
out for
looking
bronze challenger
at
for that.
least decent so far.
Yeah, my best guess for Stand and Deliver would be either Champa in a proper one-on-one like rubber match, or they just find a new contender, maybe even outside of NXT like they've done with Ziggler, but somebody actually worth Braun's time. Like, maybe even a Kevin Owens because of his NXT roots. That'd be interesting, or something like that. So I think they're either going to do Champa in a proper one-on-one match,
Yeah,
which I think is
I
most likely,
yeah,
or they could swerve us
I think it's
and they could
Ciampa.
just go outside of NXT, but somebody that has ties to NXT. Can you say that again, bud?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I was just saying. I do think it's going to end up being just the one-on-one match with Ciampa, the proper rubber match. I don't think. I think really it wouldn't surprise me if Breaker straight up pinned Ziggler in the triple threat. I think that's probably the most likely outcome. And then yeah, you get Breaker Ciampa one-on-one, the rubber match at Stand and Deliver. That's my guess.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I'm definitely in agreement with you there. All right. Guys, this has been NXT. This has been TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. Guys, be sure to like the video as you file out. The more likes you leave, the more likely we are to the top search result for NXT reviews on YouTube. And when you're the best at what you do, the top is the only place that you belong. So please leave that like. Be sure to subscribe, click the bell icon so you never again miss any of that TWitWoW goodness. Check out everything we're involved in the description box, including our TWitWoW Patreon, which if you check out the Patreon, you can get your own TWitWoW request live. reacting to any pay-per-view match or matches, whatever of your choice. We break down the price tiers in the Patreon, so click on that. We also offer additional Q&A questions. As it stands, if you're not a Patreon donor, you can still participate in our Q&A, which is the last Thursday of every month. This month, it's going to be March 31st. It'll be at 7 p.m. Eastern time. But you only get 3 questions if you're not a Patreon donor. If you donate $1, though, you get up to 5 questions to ask us for the monthly Q&A. I, of course, always suggest donating a whole $3 because you get the additional Q&A questions and you get access to the TWitWoW Discord. We had a really fun Among Us night last night, and we also do games on Fridays during SmackDown. And thank God for that, because I saw a little bit of what SmackDown's doing, and man, are we dodging a bullet. So you get to be a part of TWitWoW game nights, and there's a channel to ask your Q&A questions, nice and easy. I know people like Superblue and others take advantage of that quite often. So I think it's really easy and accessible for them. You can get it on that, just $3 a month. Follow us both on Twitter. I'm at John_TwitWoW. My pinned tweet is to collect Q&A questions. So again, that and the Q&A channel in our Discord. Easiest places to submit your Q&A questions. Get them in, please. Ashton's pinned tweet, he's at Ashton_TwitWoW, by the way. His pinned tweet is the TWitWoW schedule for the month. Now, he still does have the beginning of March. He rounds it out to March 5th on the current calendar, which was for February. So let's just take a look at the rest of this. We just did our NXT review. So tomorrow, guys, you can expect at 5, hopefully, our Stardom. Actually, didn't we already do this? I feel like we already did this. We don't actually have to worry about this. I think tomorrow, actually, all we have is AEW Dynamite. Although we might have, because I'm just seeing on Stardom World now, February 27th show.
Exactly. Yeah. The 227 show is the one we would be doing tomorrow if it's all the way up.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we'll just do it Thursday.
All right. You know these days, partner, I don't expect them to have shows fully up. But yeah, guys, we'll give it that breather. And if not, we'll do it February 20th, or excuse me, Thursday. We'll do the February 27th show Thursday.
Dude, I'm looking right now. It looks like it's already
for tomorrow. I guess just really focus on Dynamite unless we change our minds. And you. So do you want to just do it tomorrow at 5 and knock it out?
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
All right, guys, then you can expect a doubleheader tomorrow. 5 p.m. we'll do the February 27th show, and then at 8, AEW Dynamite live reactions. Yes, you heard that right. Live reacting to Dynamite. That should be really fucking interesting. Then Thursday opens up because we just did Stardom, tomorrow. So that's going to be a nice rest day for us, which is good because then Friday we're reacting to Rampage at 10 after game night on the Discord. So join us for that if you're not a member. And then we're previewing, predicting Revolution at 10:30 on Saturday. And then Sunday we're live reacting to Revolution, and Revolution's set to go live at 8. So I guess we will do the same. So yeah, guys, that's the schedule for the rest of the week. Join us tomorrow for a Stardom AEW doubleheader. And until then, be good to yourselves, be good to each other. And until we meet again, tune in. Peace out.